Hey guys, today we're playing Castlevania Legends for the Game Boy. This is the Game Boy, the Super Game Boy mode, so there's a slight color palette enhancement, but not by much. You get a nice yellow a yellow and red Castlevania sign with a blue fireball. That's about it. This is probably the second best Game Boy Castlevania game, but still not as good as Castlevania 2. There's standard mode and light mode. I think light mode is you're all the way powered up. Standard mode is you have to earn your powers. We'll just play standard mode. So you don't get to select your castle like you could in Castlevania Belmont's Revenge. This Castlevania is somewhat of a step backwards. You have the weird crawl that you could do in Castlevania 4. I don't know why they felt out of all the features to add, that was the one to add. So you play as Sonia Belmont, which is the first female Belmont. She got taken off of the Castlevania timeline in favor of making Leon on Castlevania, I think it was Lament of Innocence, is the Castlevania, the first one that came in on PlayStation 2, supposed to be the first official Castlevania story. So they took Sonia Belmont out of the timeline for that game. Before that, this was supposed to be the first original Castlevania story. Why start such an epic beginning for an epic game series, well, epic in my opinion, on the Game Boy, and not even have it be that great is beyond me. I was actually stoked about this game when I got it. This game isn't bad. Some people actually even consider this like a cult classic for some reason. I just think it's an average competent game. And I think the graphics have really downgraded since Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy. Which is weird because this came out way later, so you think they'd be able to get more out of the Game Boy with programming and stuff than they could with that, but I don't know, the levels are so barren and long. It's weird. Alucard's actually in this game, even though this game doesn't really count as the official storyline. He's in there. He's actually kind of insinuated to be Sonia's lover, and that's how she has a baby that I guess is supposed to be Trevor or Ralph, depending on where you're from. I think Ralph, he's in Castlevania 3, or Trevor if you're from America, but I think his name's only Ralph in Japan. I could be mistaken. I said that like all scrambled out, but if you like puzzles, you can rearrange my words and figure out what I was trying to say. I try to add a little bit extra to my videos just for you guys. Man, they could have added some extra stuff. Well, let's just add a bunch of squares in the background and nothing else. Now this part of the game is so freaking stupid. They just like add a bunch of zombies or enemies at these certain parts to trap you, and it's dumb. As you see, what I'm doing is probably the best technique not to get hit, because they can't walk under things. So I guess the crawl does come in handy sometimes. It's just so plain, like there's just a blank background. It just doesn't look finished in my opinion. And I'm all about gameplay over graphics, but it just looks like a lack of effort on this game's end. But it's not a bad game. I mean, it's a competent Gameboy game. But it's just surprising with the quality of Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge that this was the sequel. Story-wise, it's a prequel. Because the Castlevania Adventure you played as Christopher, which might be Trevor's son or grandson, I don't know. And then Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, his son's kidnapped and he has to save him. Because he's slowly turning into a vampire or some bullshit. I remember I was a kid and I was playing that game and I had a nightmare that I was like the son and Dracula was slowly turning me into a vampire. And I was all freaked out. And then I had to go to school. So that was a nightmare on its own, at least for an 8-year-old. I do miss that time. An axe that doesn't do anything. I forgot how the soul weapons and stuff work. I haven't played this game in so long. I take that back. I played this earlier this week to record a video that didn't work. I think I was supposed to go up that rope. I believe I made the same mistake the last time. It's pretty pathetic. Those are supposed to be the bad guys, those knights with those staffs that are in the Castlevania Dracula X games. It's one of the few enemies that they left from the from the regular Castlevania games, beside bats and hawks or whatever the hell those things are supposed to be. There's not much to tell the difference between Sonia and like the other Belmonts. I think the only difference is she like has somewhat of a skirt that's extending out and she has a ponytail. They really went out of their way with this one. Son of a bitch. Those ghosts look so stupid. It looks like a bad design on like some old guy's like Hawaiian shirt. You have secondary weapons in this game, but you gotta earn them. I think that's why you play light mode. I think you get everything. They just changed everything, not for the good. It's kind of how I felt for Lords of Shadow. They had such a good gameplay mechanics. They had such good gameplay mechanics, and then they changed the story. It's not related to the series. It's this whole different thing. You don't have the infamous axe and boomerang / cross, depending on whether your Castlevania is censored or not. The holy water. There wasn't a lot of undead creatures. Vampires look weird like they do. And some of like the Sci-Fi Channel vampire-like movies, where they look more like monsters than actual brooding humans that are really pale. which I guess that's partially my fault. I'm disappointed because I watched too many episodes of True Blood, which the premiere came on last night. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm curious where the series is gonna go. I don't feel like the series is gonna last many more seasons, though. I don't think it's nearly as popular as good. Like, I think the best season of True Blood was probably the second one. The first season was kind of weak too. The first season's ended really good though. What a stupid enemy. This is kind of what the vampires look like in Castlevania Lord of the Shadows, except uglier. Maybe this one's ugly too, and the resolution is just not capable of really representing it properly. I also don't like you can't see the enemy's life bar. That's kind of, unless you're playing an RPG Castlevania, that's kind of a staple. I have never had this much trouble with this stupid thing. Come on, do your little jump attack that I seem not to be able to avoid. I'm learning your patterns. That's not good. I just died. That sucks. And I don't have anywhere to power up my whip. I usually don't have this problem. I beat him on the first try on the first video. I sound like a manic depressive on the video though too. I was pretty down in the dumps when I filmed it. It was one of those I was forcing myself to film deals. So it's probably best I didn't record them. I'm such an asshole. Oh well. That's Castlevania Legends. I don't know why I had such a difficult time with that. Maybe I'm talking. Oh look, it's a anime version of Dracula's eyes. That's probably the best graphics you're gonna get out of this game. But it's a competent Game Boy game. If you had to pick out of all three Castlevania games, definitely try all three Castlevania games on the original Game Boy. Definitely play Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge. That's really the way to go. But anyway guys, thank you guys for watching and take care. Bye.